Hearing aids these days are packed with modern technology, and they're almost invisible. But can you handle high-tech hearing aids? Hi, this is Tina Sieber for MakeUseOf.com, and I had the chance to review the Widex Moment. These are the smallest and lightest AI-powered Bluetooth hearing aids with a rechargeable battery currently available. The Widex Moment won't just boost your hearing. They also sound surprisingly good by default, and they let you customize the audio to your needs. In this review, I'll explore how the Widex Moment work, what it was like using them, and how they sound. And I hope that this will help you decide whether they'll work for you. Before we dive in, however, let me remind you that since my review covers the technical aspects of these hearing aids, as well as my personal experience with them, it cannot replace medical advice from an audiologist or a physician. Please consult a medical doctor before you purchase a hearing aid. Alright, with that out of the way, let's have a look at what's included with the Widex Moment. My Widex Moment delivery included 2 boxes. The first one contained a pair of behind-the-ear hearing aids in a carrying case, a charging unit with a micro USB cable and a USB wall charger, and various cleaning accessories, including 2 NanoCare sets, a set of Widex EasyWear Instant Open Ear Tips, and a cleaning tissue. The second box carried the Widex Remote Link unit with a 3.5mm audio cable and a micro USB charging cable. Both boxes included various instruction manuals and information cards. Note that the Remote Link unit is optional. You'll only need it for a remote fitting, and your audiologist should provide a unit. If you're curious about how a remote fitting works, check out my full review linked below. The demo model I received was silver gray, but consumers can choose from a variety of colors and also form factors. Note that only the behind-the-ear model contains a rechargeable lithium-ion battery. That's also the model I will review here. The Widex Moment hearing aids come in different performance levels. My demo unit was equipped with the highest performance level, called 440, which supports the full set of advanced features such as SoundSense Learn, Smart Wind Manager, or the real-time speech enhancer. My unit also came with an M receiver, which uses a medium power level and is suitable for mid to moderate hearing losses. A stronger P receiver is available for more severe hearing loss. Now that we have the specs sorted, let's explore how the Widex Moment hearing aids work. Like all hearing aids, the Widex Moment can't restore lost hearing. They can only amplify and process sounds, and in that way, they will help you pick them up with your remaining hearing ability. Where hearing aids differ from one another is in the speed and quality with which they capture, process, and output sounds. The better your hearing on one or both ears, the faster the processing needs to be to avoid the so-called comb filter effect. The comb filter effect is a distortion that's created when delayed output of processed sound mixes with live environmental sound. Both the processing speed and the processing tweaks are key to producing an overall natural sound. The Widex Moment tackle the hearing aid challenge in a couple of different ways. First, they offer different programs for different environments, and your audiologist can load up to 5 default programs onto your hearing aids. And then you can personalize your hearing experience with additional custom programs. And that's done using the Moment app, which I'll discuss in more detail in a moment. What further sets the Widex Moment apart from other hearing aids is that they each carry 2 digital processors. The zero delay pathway powers the Pure Sound program and has a processing time of less than 0.5 milliseconds. The second processor, known as the Classic pathway, powers all other programs and reaches up to 2.5 milliseconds, which is much faster than the industry average of 5 to 8 milliseconds. So what good is the slower processor? People with severe hearing loss require more processing power in their hearing aids. The Classic pathway doesn't just amplify sound, it also uses specialized microphones to remove feedback, control for loud sound, and manage noise. This additional processing is what makes it slower. During my fitting, I learned that tinnitus patients often prefer slower processing because the slight delay can distract from the ever-present ringing in the ears. However, since brain generally can't detect a distortion if the delay is below 10 milliseconds, all programs produced by the Widex Moment should sound natural to you. Hearing aids do work out of the box, but they won't sound good. You'll need to see an audiologist to adapt the settings to your hearing ability and also to your personal preferences. That's why you need a fitting. And with the Widex Moment, this can be done remotely. You can read about the full process in my written review. Now you have an idea how the Widex Moment work, but what's it like wearing them? So these were the first hearing aids I've ever tried. During the remote fitting, before the audiologist had adapted the settings to my hearing, talking was kind of weird. It sounded as if I was speaking through a speakerphone. Once the settings matched my hearing, I sounded normal to myself again. The hearing aids are also so light that at times I almost forgot I was wearing them. The Widex Moment are super easy to operate. The most difficult part was to put them in. So before you put a hearing aid in, identify which side it goes on. Just like in US politics, red is right and blue is left. You'll find the color code both on the main unit and the receiver. To put them in, wedge the main unit behind your ear first, then wrap the thin tube around the top of your lobe and lower the receiver deep into your ear canal. You will have to push it in slightly. I recommend turning the hearing aids on after putting them in. Reach behind the ear with your index finger and find the on-off button, then provide support from the front with your thumb as you press the button for 3 seconds. Once you release the button, the hearing aids will announce that they're the left or right unit respectively. Day-to-day usage and cleaning your hearing aids can be difficult if your fingers aren't sensitive or agile enough to handle small and delicate objects. So be sure to try it out before you commit to a specific model. My demo contained an open-style dome, which lets environmental sounds pass through, meaning that I could hear everything like normal with the hearing aids turned off or on. A closed-style dome is beneficial for severe hearing loss, as it will block out external noise and boost the sound level. By themselves, the hearing aids are comfortable and almost unnoticeable. When you add glasses and a face mask, however, the behind-the-ear model becomes cumbersome. You'll prefer glasses with thin arms that don't rub against the hearing aid, and I'd recommend getting face masks with elastics that wrap around your head rather than going behind the ears. Alternatively, you could choose an in-ear model and that won't collide with your glasses or a face mask, but unfortunately the Widex Moment in-ear versions don't offer a rechargeable battery, which is one of their best features. Now, let's look at how you can customize the sound using the Moment app. But before we dig in, let me mention that while the app is amazing, it's technically optional. The Widex Moment use sound class technology to automatically adapt to your environment. Within the Pure Sound and Universal program, they can switch between up to 11 sound classes. And you can manually switch between the up to 5 preloaded programs by pressing the on-off button on either hearing aid. So why will you still want to use the app? The Widex Moment app lets you control the volume and fine-tune settings. This is where these AI-powered hearing aids come into their own. Machine learning helps the Widex Moment predict the settings that are best for a given environment. And it also learns about you. Following the fitting, I took the hearing aids on a few excursions. As I was going for a walk wearing the Widex Moment, the wind outside created a rustling noise. I pulled up the app and went into the SoundSense Learn tool to set up a custom program. I selected my current activity, so outdoors, and what the hearing aids should help me with, which was listening to a conversation. Based on my input, the SoundSense Learn tool suggested pairs of settings which I could compare. And the very first pair actually contained a setting that completely removed the rustling noise. The app will continue to suggest up to 14 pairs of settings, but you can save and exit as soon as you're satisfied with the sound. Creating those custom programs is neat, but you don't have to. The app comes with up to 5 presets: Pure Sound, Universal, Music, Directional Focus, and Scent Therapy for tinnitus treatment. You can still customize each of the presets. For example, you can increase or decrease the volume of each hearing aid individually, and you can use the equalizer to adjust the bass, middle, and treble, or pick one of the equalizer presets for more speech, more clarity, less sharp sounds, or less echo. Unfortunately, you can't save the changes you make to the presets, and when you jump from one to the next program, the app will go back to default settings. So, what do the Widex Moments sound like? Today's hearing aids can't sound better than your natural hearing, and hearing aids commonly produce random feedback or distortions. I was impressed with how a few clicks in the app helped the Widex Moment eliminate sound artifacts introduced by, for example, wind or loud noises while riding on a bus. I was also able to emphasize specific sounds, for example, speech. While trying to isolate announcements on the bus, I also tuned into a conversation a few rows over by accident. Using the directional focus, the program, I could drown out that same conversation by emphasizing the traffic noise on the opposite side. Widex is said to be a good option for music lovers as it captures a wide sound window and picks up both loud and soft sounds, and without distortion. While I enjoyed amplifying the volume on my left ear, which removed that slight numb feeling on that ear, I wasn't entirely satisfied with the sound of music. Highs were piercing on my weak ear, and it took a fair bit of modifying of the default programs to make amplified music bearable. What worked best for music was creating a custom program using the SoundSense Learn tool. Overall, what was most pleasing for me was simply increasing the volume on my weak ear. That said, the additional processing offered in noisy environments was effective and impressive. While the default programs don't always produce the best sound, once you adjust the audio balance in the equalizer and set the volume for each aid individually, you'll fully appreciate the flexibility the Moment app gives you. Now, let's turn to some common questions. What if after 40 hours, your hearing aids run out of battery? Well, you pop them into the charging unit. Unfortunately, the charger has to remain plugged in while charging, and it doesn't double as a carrying case. A half-hour charge will give you 4 hours of battery life, and a full charge takes about 4 hours. Keep in mind that when you remove your hearing aids from the charger, they will turn on by default. Be sure to turn them off before placing them back in the carrying case. So how do you know whether they're on or off? The audiologist I had a call with showed me a neat trick. Place the hearing aid in the palm of your hand, cover it with your other hand, and gently press your hands together. If you hear a feedback noise, like the one demonstrated, it's turned on. Press the button for 3 seconds to turn it off and confirm they're really off. If you're using headphones a lot, you're probably wondering whether you can stream audio to the Widex Moment. And the answer is that yes, but only if you have an iPhone. Android users will have to wait for a firmware update, and I'm afraid Widex couldn't give us a release date for that update. In the meantime, you could use the Comdex accessory to stream audio from any Bluetooth source to your Widex Moment hearing aids. Alright, time for our conclusion. Lacking previous experience with hearing aids, it's tough to issue a fair verdict. What I can say is that I did notice a significant improvement of my hearing power on both my weak and my strong ear. What I loved most was amplifying the volume on my weak ear. Being able to dial up the volume felt almost like playing with a Bond gadget. I was impressed with how quickly the AI removed background noises and external distortions. I enjoyed being able to customize the sound for different environments and also activities. Within the app, it would be great if it was possible to save modifications to the default programs. And I wish Widex had combined the carrying case and the charging unit. Also, outfitting the charging unit with an internal battery would make it a lot more useful. At a price point of up to $8,000 per pair, these seem like reasonable features to expect. So, if you're in the market for a hearing aid, I would strongly encourage you to compare a few different models from different manufacturers before settling on one. This is a significant investment, not unlike a car. If you're attracted to super light, AI-powered, rechargeable Bluetooth hearing aids, you should definitely test drive the Widex Moment. And before I close, note that I couldn't pack every last detail into this video review, so please read my full review of the Widex Moment on makeuseof.com, linked in the description below. And if you would like to catch our next review, please subscribe to our channel. That's it. Thanks for watching.